accordingly. I invite the Honourable Member for Halifax for her right of reply. The Honourable Member has up to 5 minutes. The Honourable Member for Halifax.
I'd appreciate it if you could give me a 1 minute mark. I'm not used to the 5 minutes. Thanks very much. So we're here at the end of 2 hours of debate on this bill to save the Sambro Island Lighthouse. And I know that lots of people in Sambro are watching right now and lots of people in Halifax. So I'll let them know that I do have this right of return or right of reply where I actually have 5 minutes to talk about what it is that we've heard in the House here and sort of sum it up if it's possible. Well, Mr. Speaker, we heard a lot in this House about the reasons why this lighthouse. It's not about all lighthouses, it's about this lighthouse, the Sambro Island Lighthouse. And some of the reasons why it's the oldest continuously working lighthouse in the Americas. We heard in this House that the building of the lighthouse was actually commemorated as a historic event in 1937. We heard that it was designated a heritage building in the 90s. We heard other facts, like the fact that it's a perfect example of a particular type of architecture when it comes to lighthouses. It's one of the best examples of permanent coastal navigational aids along the coast of Nova Scotia, and it played a tremendous role in the development of our nation. We heard about how it was associated with safe shipping in the early development of Halifax and in the province of Nova Scotia. But we also heard some stories attached to this lighthouse. Stories like the fact that this was the last structure seen by the Royal Canadian Navy as they departed in times of war and of peace, that it was the first welcoming light as people came back home. We heard about how this light was a sign of hope for war brides, immigrants, and refugees making their way to Canada through Pier 21. So we've heard all of these facts and figures, Mr. Speaker. We also heard about how this is not a lighthouse at the end of a pier or on land. It's on a rock in the ocean. It's not easy for the community to just say, yeah, we'll hire some summer students to throw a coat of paint on it and take care of it. It involves so much more because it's quite dangerous. We heard about the weather that prevents people from even getting out there, the fog, the rain, the wind. But what we haven't heard, we've heard all the facts and figures, what we haven't heard are the voices of the people on the ground who are working to protect this lighthouse and who care about it deeply. So I would like to bring some of their voices to the House today, Mr. Speaker. Nancy Marriott, I am 73 years young. I can remember going in Dad's fishing boat with the family to visit with the Gilkeys on a Sunday afternoon. My brother and I would get up to go in the light. It was exciting. I hope the government will continue its support. M.H. Watson from Sambro, surely we can find some love for a piece of our history, our first lighthouse, America's first lighthouse and the last view our soldiers saw as they sailed off to war. Sheila Dominy from Sambro, this island is so special. As they say, if you don't know where you've been, how can you know where you're going? Jean Henneberry from Sambro, help us preserve an historic part of our past, the Sambro Lighthouse. It reflects the hopes of the community and the country for a better world. Leslie Harnish, also from Sambro. I'm a descendant of the lighthouse keeper, the Gilkey family that were keepers on the island, and I've always wanted to see the island and the lighthouse preserved. And I'm going to sum up with a bit of a long quote from Kathy Brown. This lighthouse has a long and distinguished history and can be regarded as Canada's most important pre-Confederation building. For the love of their lighthouses, the people of the village of Sambro have founded the Sambro Island Lighthouse Preservation Society. They're working hard to raise awareness and money to save this Canadian icon. But this lighthouse is not just their responsibility. It is the responsibility of all of us, wherever we live, and of whatever political stripe, to make sure that Sambro is properly recognized and preserved. Since Sambro was not designated immediately in the Heritage Lighthouse Protection Act, this is a chance for you to set aside your political differences and amend this mistake. It's a chance to show that heritage and history are of real importance, not just the subject of fancy TV ads and passing celebrations. I urge you, as the first step in preserving this heritage building for future generations, to show your support for Bill C-588. Mr. Speaker, I am heartened by the words that I have heard spoken in this chamber in support of this bill, spanning across party lines as well as geography. and I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute in some small way to the protection and preservation of this important piece of our heritage and to find a way for this light to shine on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Accordingly, the question is as follows. Ms. Leslie, seconded by Mr. Cleary, moved that Bill C-588, an act to amend the Heritage Lighthouse Protection Act, Sambro Island Lighthouse, be now read a second time and referred to the Standing Committee on Environment and Sustainable Development. Is it the pleasure of the House to adopt the motion? Yes? Yes? Agreed? All those in favor of the motion will please say yay. All those opposed will please say nay. In my opinion, the yeas have it. Pursuant to Standing Order 93, the recorded division stands deferred until Wednesday, June 11th, 2015, immediately before, that should be June 10th, shouldn't it? It's tomorrow?
Oh, yes, the 10th.
Yeah. Pardon me, it's Wednesday, June 10th, 2015, immediately before the time provided for private members' business.